You open a door in a house you've never seen before. The hallway stretches longer than it should. Somewhere behind you, a voice calls your name, but when you turn around, no one is there. Then you're falling. Then you're standing on the moon, breathing normally as if that's perfectly fine. None of this surprises you, not while it's happening. Your brain builds an entire world like this almost every single night, full scenes, full conversations, full emotions that feel as real as anything in your waking life. And then within minutes of opening your eyes, most of it is gone. Not faded, gone. Like it was never there at all. So why does your brain do this? Why build something so vivid, so detailed, so emotionally real, only to delete nearly all of it before breakfast? For most of history, people guessed. Dreams were messages from gods, warnings from spirits, glimpses into the future. It's only in the last 100 years that scientists started treating dreams as something the brain does for a reason, not something that happens to you by accident. Your brain doesn't dream randomly. It dreams in cycles, and those cycles follow a strict, almost mechanical schedule. About 90 minutes after you fall asleep, your brain shifts into a stage called REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement because your eyes actually dart back and forth beneath your closed eyelids during this stage, as if you're watching something. Your body, meanwhile, goes nearly paralyzed. Your muscles switch off. Your brain sends out a chemical signal that blocks most movement, so you can't act out whatever is happening in the dream. This isn't a flaw, it's a safeguard. The French researcher Michel Jouvet discovered this paralysis mechanism in the 1960s. He found a part of the brainstem responsible for shutting down movement during REM sleep, and when he disabled that same region in cats, something unsettling happened. The cats began acting out their dreams. They stalked invisible prey. They arched their backs and hissed at nothing. Their bodies moved through scenes that existed only inside their sleeping minds. That single discovery told scientists something important. Dreaming isn't a side effect. It's a state the brain enters on purpose, with its own rules, its own chemistry, and its own built-in safety system. But why build the dream at all? Why not just switch off? One of the clearest answers comes from sleep researcher Matthew Walker at the University of California, Berkeley. Walker's research suggests that REM sleep helps your brain process emotional memories, stripping away the sharp emotional sting of a difficult experience while keeping the memory itself intact. In his studies, people who slept and dreamed after a stressful event showed lower emotional reactivity to that memory the next day, compared to people who didn't get that same REM sleep. It's as if your brain runs emotional events through a kind of overnight therapy session, dulling the pain while preserving the lesson. Picture it concretely. You had a hard conversation today, maybe an argument, maybe a moment of embarrassment. That night, your brain doesn't just store that memory in a vault. It reactivates it, weaves it into a strange dream scenario, mixes it with unrelated images and emotions, and processes it without the flood of stress chemicals that were present when it actually happened. By morning, the facts are still there. The sting is a little softer. There's a second theory, just as compelling. Long before modern sleep labs existed, the psychiatrist Alan Hobson at Harvard Medical School proposed that dreams are partly the result of the brain trying to make sense of its own internal noise. During REM sleep, deep structures in the brainstem fire off random electrical signals. Your cortex, the part of your brain responsible for thought, language, and meaning, doesn't just ignore that noise. It tries to interpret it. It builds a story around the chaos, the same way you might see a face in a cloud or a pattern in static. Hobson called this idea activation synthesis. Your brain activates random signals, then synthesizes them into something that feels like a coherent experience, even when the underlying material is essentially nonsense. That's part of why dreams can feel so bizarre. You're not watching a carefully written story. You're watching your own cortex scramble to explain electrical static in real time, using whatever memories and images happen to be nearby. There's also a third piece to this puzzle, and it has to do with memory itself. Researchers studying sleep and memory consolidation, including work that built on Rosalind Cartwright's decades of dream research at Rush University Medical Center, found that dreams often blend recent experiences with older, unrelated memories. You might dream about your childhood home, but populate it with a coworker you only met last week. This isn't random confusion. Many scientists believe this is your brain searching for connections, linking new information to your existing web of memories so the new material has somewhere to attach. Dreaming, in this view, isn't just emotional processing, it's a kind of overnight filing system, cross-referencing your life so far with whatever just happened to you. So here's what's actually happening on a night like the one you just imagined. Your eyes start darting beneath closed lids. Your muscles go still, locked by a brainstem switch Michel Jouvet first identified. Random electrical signals fire through your brainstem and your cortex. Refusing to leave that noise unexplained builds a story out of it, the way Hobson described. That story gets fused with fragments of memory, old and new, the way Cartwright's research suggests. And the emotional weight of your day gets reprocessed and softened, the way Walker's studies show, all while you lie there, perfectly still, completely unaware of how much work your brain is doing. Here's the part that surprises most people. You forget almost all of it on purpose. Dream recall depends heavily on what happens the moment you wake up. If you wake up gradually, drifting out of REM sleep on your own, you're far more likely to remember fragments. If you're jolted awake by an alarm, or if you immediately start thinking about your to-do list, that dream content gets pushed out almost instantly, overwritten by the flood of new information your waking brain starts processing. Some researchers believe this forgetting isn't a glitch at all. It may be protective. If you remembered every emotionally intense, often nonsensical scene your brain generated each night, you might struggle to tell dream memories apart from real ones. Forgetting most of it keeps your sense of reality clean. This is also where lucid dreaming becomes such a strange exception. Stephen LaBerge, a researcher who pioneered scientific studies of lucid dreaming at Stanford University, demonstrated that some people can become aware they're dreaming while the dream is still happening, and even communicate that awareness to researchers using prearranged eye movements, since the eye muscles are some of the only ones not paralyzed during REM sleep. LaBerge's work proved something remarkable. A sleeping brain isn't unconscious. It's running a fully active simulation, complete with awareness, decision-making, and even a kind of supervision, watching itself dream. So what does all this mean for you tonight when you close your eyes again? It means the version of yourself that exists in your dreams isn't disconnected from the version that exists during the day. The same brain that worries about a deadline, replays an embarrassing moment, or misses someone, carries those exact feelings into REM sleep and works through them there, using a stranger, less literal language. Dreams aren't a separate department of your mind. They're an extension of it, running its hardest, most important emotional and memory processing, while your body sits perfectly still and unaware. And maybe that changes how you think about the strange dream you had last week, the one that didn't quite make sense, the one you couldn't fully explain. It wasn't nonsense. It was your brain, late at night, sorting through everything you couldn't process while you were awake, softening what hurt, filing away what mattered, and quietly preparing you for the version of yourself you'll wake up as in the morning. So tonight, when you close your eyes, and a door appears that shouldn't exist, and a hallway stretches longer than it should, and a voice calls your name from somewhere just out of sight, remember this: you're not lost in something meaningless. You're standing in the middle of one of the most sophisticated processes your brain performs every single night, whether you remember it or not. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.